Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Box Score Sports YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan, and what we are doing is we are going to be previewing every single NBA team to celebrate tip-off week in the NBA. We're going to have videos of every team's, hopefully 10 minutes or less, of our favorite moves, least favorite moves. We're going to talk about questions, concerns. We're going to predict whether they're a playoff team, a contender, a lottery team, or a play-in team. We're going to hit on all those and every single teams. But before we get into it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts on your favorite teams going into the season or on the team of each video that we will be posting. With that said, let's get into our prediction.
Previewing the Golden State Warriors.
Golden State Warriors finished 6th last year. They were 44-38, and then they got bounced in the second round by the LA Lakers, 4-2. They re-signed Draymond Green this offseason. They're kind of rolling it back. We'll talk about some of the moves they made, but they're going to be an interesting team to watch. Do they have one more run left in them? I guess we'll find out. But let's talk about some of the favorite moves of the Golden State Warriors this offseason. Let me get with my honorable mention, Dario Saric. I always like to have a big man that can spread the court. If you're going to have a pair of big men, I'd like to have them like two different ways, two different versions, I should say. Like they both can't be like prodding big guys. One has to be like I think of the Clippers, for instance. They have Zoo, who's more of a physical. He has a couple post moves down low, sets heavy screens. He's got a little bit of a flip shot. And then you got Mason Plumlee, who's a little bit more athletic. He runs the floor. He can actually dribble. He's a bit more of a playmaker. And you got to mix it up. So I do like that they brought in Saric. He only played 14 minutes a game last year, but he was basically 40% from the 3-point line. And he averaged almost 4 rebounds. So in 14 minutes, in 6 points. So, that's probably what he'll get it as the Warriors, but I think there'll be times when they're going to want him out there to make the spacing on the floor a little bit better. Him and Draymond Green, if Wiggins in foul trouble, I like that move. I also like the move of getting rid of Jordan Poole. It's just for chemistry issues, chemistry things. It was even good for Jordan Poole because there was times I remember I watched the game and Jordan Poole kind of took an open shot for the win of the game. And then everybody was upset he missed it. And it's just almost like it was a bad shot. And I don't know if that's what he needs. Right. It is hard for young players to play on winning teams. It is because they aren't allowed to make the same mistakes that these winning players got to make growing up in the league. And I just think Jordan Poole will be better for it. And I think that the Warriors will be better for it as well. We'll talk about Chris Paul. I'm on the fence about that move. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Least favorite move, losing DiVincenzo. He was a key role player last year for the Warriors. He shot about 40% from 3, but on 27 minutes a game. Good defender, a great hustle player. I know Gary Payton Jr. will probably fill that role a little bit more now that he's coming into the season healthy. But I do think that losing DiVincenzo is going to hurt them a little bit because you kind of replacing DiVincenzo with Chris Paul. Now, in theory, you're well, that's a better player, but we'll talk about how that can be not such a good thing as well. But DiVincenzo kind of, to me, fit the system of the Warriors a little bit better than Chris Paul does. Although I think Chris Paul is a smart enough player to figure it out. So I'm not quite sure, sort of where to go from there. But I think missing out on DiVincenzo is going to hurt the Warriors a little bit. And that's why it's my least favorite move. Let's talk about some big questions, comments, statements, concerns we have. Well, and my biggest thing is with Chris Paul and Steph Curry on defense. Neither one of them are a great defender, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's partly Chris Paul's age and his size, and he's not as quick as he used to be. And it's the same with Steph Curry. It's his size. And I just worry about when you're going through the Western Conference, you got a guard like De'Aaron Fox. And I know this is going to sound weird, but what Russell Westbrook, who's a fast, quick point guard, and Ja Morant, when you have to guard those type of point guards, Anthony Edwards, like there's so many guys that they have to guard. The Warriors have to guard that I just don't know if Chris Paul and Steph Curry are going to be on the floor together. If that's going to work for that. Now we could say, well, Klay Thompson is not the same defender he used to be. So it does present a problem, I think, defensively for the Warriors, especially at the guard position. That's kind of my big question. Can they figure that part out? The other thing is, is this team good enough to make one last run? Now, I think they are a little bit of a tease. They are still contenders. And I think, they're still good enough, but I think they got a glaring hole. And with all the Klay Thompson extension talks and how they fell through, I just wonder if this is their last dance, so to speak. Is this the last time they're going to be together? The three of them, Green, Thompson, and Curry. It will be nice that they will have Andrew Wiggins all season. I think that's going to be important for this team. Now, the last thing I'll mention about and this is sort of a bold statement, but you guys remember at one time D'Angelo Russell was a Warrior, and they were talking oh yeah, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it. He'll be good on ball and off ball, and to help with the Splash Brothers, and then all of a sudden they trade him before the deadline for Andrew Wiggins, just knowing that the fit was just so much better to have Wiggins on that team versus D'Angelo Russell. But they traded for Russell because they were losing Durant. And I just wonder if that's a little bit of what's going on with Chris Paul here. Just a little part of me. Chris Paul and the Warriors could have a mutually beneficial agreement. Hey, why don't you come and play for us? We'll see if it works out. If not, we will send you to a team where we can get something for you that will need you. I think of, again, the Brooklyn Nets are a team that could desperately kind of use a facilitator if Ben Simmons is still Ben Simmons of last year, not back before the Atlanta Hawks series when he was a 76er. The Toronto Raptors could really use somebody like that. The Miami Heat could use a guy like Chris Paul. There's a lot of options. The Orlando Magic. There's a lot of options out there for a point guard like Chris Paul to go in a situation and be more valuable to that situation than he will be with the Warriors. Chris Paul, his offense is more of a slow it down, get the ball in the right position, and I'm going to set my players up the best way possible to succeed, which sort of works with the offense of the Warriors, except the ball movement part, right? They like to move the ball, set screens, keep coming off of screens, keep moving around, and every one of them can shoot. So the fit is kind of like this, right? It pushes against one another. Not that it can't work. Chris Paul is a smart player. He's going to figure it out. But because of that, I just wonder if this is sort of a way they can do a D'Angelo Russell again and just get something for Chris Paul and not lose Jordan Poole for nothing, but get someone that could fit what they do better. Just throwing that out there. Again, my prediction, they're a contender. I think there's a lot of contenders in the West. The Nuggets got a little worse losing Brown. I think the teams around them got better. And in all intents and purposes, I really think the Warriors are a little better with Chris Paul than they are with Jordan Poole. So that part will work out for them. I'm curious to see how it works, and we'll find out tonight. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Golden State Warriors. Do you think Chris Paul could be a potential trade chip by the time the trade deadline comes? What do you think of the fit? How are you feeling about the Warriors? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.